Okay, another one off the shelf is back, episode 4. Rich and Dan back to discuss our pick from last week, which was the amazing Special Silencers out of Indonesia from 1982. So, I bought this movie purely on the blurb about it. So I never heard anything about it. I I have an extensive Mondo Macabro collection on the shelf, and this is a recent pickup. But yeah, I don't know if you knew of the movie
Not at
prior
all.
to me suggesting it, but
No, I
it's
mean,
it's it,
same.
it
I let Mondo Macabro, curate some of my taste for me. I mean, there's no
yeah,
way I
exactly.
would have found this movie without him. So that's pretty fucking awesome. It's a super weird, obscure one that I'm glad they picked, and I hope they have more like it. I guess.
Yeah, it's super fun. So and it lives up to the blurb description. That's not always the case. I mean, after owning and purchasing thousands of movies on my shelf, I have been definitely duped more than a few times by a really cool sounding blurb on the back or a description on IMDb, and then it's like it's trying to sell me a turd that is pure garbage, and they've just gotten really creative with the language. But this one, I mean, I think I read it last week. Um,
It deserves
Yeah, the
another.
plot is simplicity itself. A corrupt politician in rural Indonesia wants to impose himself as the boss of the local territory. To do this, he has to eliminate the competition. To do that, he uses his special silencers, small red pills apparently intended to enhance meditative states, but when taken with food or drink, they erupt inside the victim's stomach and emerge through the flesh like ragged blood covered tree branches. So sold. Like I was sold when I read it, and then the movie starts, and it does not waste much time in getting into that premise. So yeah, it's quite bloody for Indonesian standards. I would say I don't know that many others. Um,
What a
the
strange
mystics.
plot as well. Like
It's
what the fuck is? It's like.
I think that I mean I was doing a little bit of research with Indonesian horror of this period in the late
Uh-huh.
70s, early 80s. They had a huge exploitation boom because everyone else was doing it in Europe and America, and they were just cashing in on, the money to be made. But of the Indonesian variety, which there are quite a few, like I was going through the shelf. So this is another one. The Hungry Snake Woman is one
Mm-hmm.
I've watched recently. Virgins from Hell is another Mondo old one I have on DVD. And then Mystics in Bali is probably the first one I saw, which
Mm-hmm.
is
So
masterful, amazing, unforgettable scenes from that one in particular. I don't actually own that one. I think I have a downloaded copy that
yeah, I'm trying to see, kind of trying to remember if I own it. I know.
it
I
was.
think Queen of Black Magic is another. Have you ever heard of that?
I don't think I have that one,
I
but I
think.
have. Yeah, it's on my circulating list as I've been getting more and more into these Asian horror
Yeah.
types. So
It seems like all of the labels are kind of scooping up the dredges at this point because
yeah,
like
yeah, I think they are.
they all kind of get like a Japanese one here and there, and then now they're all Severin's doing some of these Indonesians, and it's like they all work together somehow to get the
They
same.
they probably surface like some directors cache of
Yeah, yeah,
of
yeah.
film reels and things, and they're like, because this one had, from what I read on IMDb and other places, it had huge cult following back when it came out, but it was like you can imagine how hard it would have been to come across a VHS in the America or Western
For sure.
world for something like that. So it was like a myth or a urban legend of like there's this movie and all this crazy
Mhm.
stuff, and the main gross out scenes of the tree blood tree branches splitting out is Alien. I mean that's where they were
Right.
going from. So
Hmm.
I mean, and this was right on the coattails of Alien being released, and that being such a genre breaking, everyone's talking about it the next day scene. So that's what you see. I mean, the Americans and the Brits usually trailblaze, and then the Italians copy, and then the Indonesians copy the Italians. So it's like
Right.
it's
And that
it's
would make
but
sense because it felt like, I don't know, it kind of felt Cronenberg, but I don't know
yeah,
if he
body
would
horror for sure.
if he was like that big. Alien definitely gets to Indonesia, and that would probably influence everyone. That makes sense. I didn't even think
Yeah,
about that. It just felt so Cronenberg to me.
right. Well, I remember, and this is a bit of a tangent to jump to, but remember I was watching Verena was the name of it. That's
Yeah, you told me about that.
another Mondo release. I think it's Indian though,
Mm-hmm.
but to your point, where I said there's this completely out of place scene in this paper mill in that movie Verena, where it's like there's this big owner that owns this big mill that everybody like has a job with, and that was like one of the central parts. But it cuts to this scene, and they spliced an exact scene from The Thing into this movie where the
Oh,
dogs are freaking out in the cages at the bottom.
that's awesome.
So that tells me, to your point, that movies like that, like Cronenberg and The Thing with John Carpenter in the early 80s, late 70s, I think they were watching all of those movies, and so that's where a lot of these inspirations come from. But the interesting thing with Indonesian, um, a lot of these, like the Shawshank Chinese ones,
Mm-hmm.
the Japanese of the same time period, they seem to kind of put the horror idea through their mysticism and their mythology of black magic. So that's where I think we get, because reading that blurb, it's like little red pills that it's like, what the fuck is that coming from? But that it does come from the opening scene is like a monk, like one your quintessential robed guy with huge white mustache and just smoking pipes all the
Mm-hmm.
time, and they
The
were the
hair is
shaman.
clearly like spray painted white. You can.
Yes. Right. But almost all these movies, like the Snake Woman one, the Mystics in Bali, they're all circulating around like a medicine man or a shaman
Mm.
or this ancient legend that can't be disturbed, or else bad things happen to everybody in the village. So that's where I think their kind of uniqueness is. It's like rooting it in their culture and putting those same stories through their cultural kind of heritage. So it's neat to kind of see those things, which we're not familiar with. Like I don't know any of these tales and legends,
Totally.
especially the Chinese ones, because every one of those Shawshank stories is like a ghost story that
Yeah, yeah,
had
yeah.
been told for thousands of years, and like I've never heard of it. But it's neat to kind of see them come through and screen and share with the rest of the world.
And weird to
So
like, I don't know, because I looked into the director a little bit, and I think, have you heard of? I think the director did The Warrior, which also has Barry
yeah,
Prima in it, which I
right. I
think
saw that.
recently come out. But it's like both of them have the same plot, and they're both like weirdly political about like a village that needs a
Corruption, yeah.
yeah, that has some corruption, which is like mixing that with like the alien is such a strange like I
Yeah.
don't even know what to.
Yeah, I mean, that was a major plot point in this whole Special Silencers was, like, and I think that is how life is like
Yeah,
in those third world countries. It's
right.
just like corruption all the way down every level of government, everybody's bribing somebody to get whatever they need. And so I think they can't help but make that like that's what they experience every day.
That's
But
interesting.
yeah, that was um a major point of it, which I felt. I mean, I liked the movie. It was a lot of fun. So many memorable scenes, but it did seem like they layered on the corruption kind of plot a little heavy. Like it could have been a more light backstory to the whole thing, but it was like central. Like the whole
Mm-hmm.
part of the movie is about this guy's quest to steal himself power into this village, and then the fight scenes. So many goddamn fight scenes. Like it's like every
Yeah.
2 minutes one breaks out, and it's like it's the same Barry Prima character fighting the same 5 henchmen
Yep.
over and over and over. So it was kind of like I bet they didn't have much of a script or premise other than corrupt guys going to use these pills to get in, and that was it. And they were like, oh, we got nothing else, fight. Oh, nothing else, fight again. So it did really start to get silly with
That's why the blurb says simplicity, is because they had two plot lines, which was fight and fucking trees come out of your stomach. But I love that the 5 henchmen every time were like so polite, like like
they took turns.
Yeah, they took turns. They're just like sitting, waiting for the guy to get killed, and then they're coming in. And it's fucking awesome.
It was. I mean, I think that's where the cult following probably is most coming from. Is just the comedic, acceptance of like, this is so fucking goofy that it's they weren't doing it, or they weren't doing it straight. They were doing it with the intention to be a bit like, all right, because I mean, like we've been doing, like I took notes throughout my watching of the movie, and I was like, some of my notes are like, just fucking leave town, man. They're not gonna leave you alone. Like,
totally.
if anybody else was, in that situation, I'd been like, yep, see ya. I don't care about this chicken as much. Right. So it was just like, no one would ever go through that. Like, really, it was overkill.
Yeah.
Okay. The director Arizal.
Right. Yeah, I think he might not have done the Warrior, but he there was another movie that has basically the same exact cast. I don't know if it is the Warrior, but it has that the baddie in this one is so awesome. His eyes are so scary, and apparently he's a baddie in like everything that he's in.
He was pretty bad. I mean, I was happy when he was killed. He was an annoying bad guy that you wanted to get demolished. So I mean, we can start with my long list of notes. So the first one was Grandpa's Magic Beans. That was the origin of. So it was the grandfather of this guy that was vying to be the mayor, and I don't know if you caught this. There were like really detailed rules around these silencer bean pill things.
Yeah, like not on an empty stomach or something.
Right. Well, right. Like that I just read on the box. But when I was watching the movie, they did not explain the rules at all. Like, especially at the end. And that's one of my notes was, the way it's supposed to work is, if you take it on an empty stomach, you get impenetrable skin. If you take it with food, you explode horribly with blood trees.
I didn't catch that.
Right. So that they're meant to have a good purpose, and that the meditation monk grandpa, he apparently has impenetrable skin because he's taken it the way you're supposed to, but when taken incorrectly, it's not good. So yeah, they didn't do a great job of explaining that mythology.
A huge plot point that would add to it.
Right. But that does happen. I'll get to it when I get to that point in my notes. The impenetrable skin part. My second note is, why eyes so red? It was like off-putting. I'm like, there's something wrong with this person physically to have bleeding looking eyes the whole time.
We think the same way, because that's the first thing I saw him. Well, first thing, he's got a pipe and a cigarette in the same hand.
That's one of my notes. That was so fucking awesome.
He's smoking a pipe and a cigarette. That dude does not give a fuck. That was so awesome.
That was quite an invention. Third is synth music slow clap.
Right. The opening credits.
The opening credits had the best synth.
And I think they did that same song, the synthy song, over and over, or maybe like the opening and ending credits, but
not not as loud and front and center as they do in the beginning, but I
Yeah,
was way into it.
for sure.
Next was dubbing so bad, and I've read that in everyone else's review. I mean, it's pretty much par for the course with this kind of region, but
Yeah, I don't even
um,
notice at this point. Like dubbing, I mean, you could.
yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. It's just like
Yeah,
when when I mean the typical where the voice doesn't match at all the person you're seeing, so it's or they sound all so similar, and that was a problem. And I know I always feel like I'm racist when I say that, but it's like which guy is this now? Is
totally.
this the grandpa or the helper or
Hmm.
the mayor? Because there were two guys, two of the bad guys. It was one was like a little younger looking than the other,
Yeah,
but they were like so interchangeable. I was like, you should have cast someone with a different mustache or a
yeah,
different
yeah,
hairstyle. So, but that similar, like if they all talk the same, like the dubbing is so similar, that makes it even harder to distinguish them as unique individuals.
definitely.
Then it was roofie coffee, fast acting. That was the most hilarious thing. Is like it's like one sip and then like
Yeah,
it's like the
and it
fastest.
was funny because he was like, I kind of felt bad for a moment because he was like, "Don't drink that," as if like he didn't
Yeah,
know to the other guy, and then he gets that. I mean, so I don't know how much you know about special effects. How the fuck did they do? What kind of special effects do you think that was? I was so impressed.
yeah. They, I mean, most of them were like, I mean, Tom Savini was probably the best at doing that, where you had the head. I mean, and they did it in two different ways. One was against a wall where the
Sure.
head is sticking out, the body is
Mm-hmm.
way behind the wall, and there's a fake body. And then they
Yeah.
do the
Yeah.
same thing laying down, where the head is, you're buried in a hole and you have a fake body. Because you could tell that the head was the same actor, but then the chest was rubber and it was very
And,
fake
but
looking. But
but the way they come
oh
out
yeah, yeah, no,
is so like must have
I'm
been
guessing they were tied to strings
and
or
pulled,
something, but they
but
got quite elaborate, especially the
so
last
good.
one.
Because
Yeah,
each
it was.
one that it was like each one that came out was like the blood is so red and so
Yeah, yeah,
gnarly,
yeah.
and like each little tree thing was like freaking out. I was like, damn, this is for how low
Yeah,
budget it is. I was very impressed by it.
I loved the one scene. I think it was the first time um, when or no, when it was the policeman on the bridge when he has the drink, and then all the villagers come to help, and they like see it, and they're like, nope, and they fucking
Yeah,
all take.
totally. Yeah, that's
They're
part
like,
of the
fuck that shit. I'm not helping any of that.
right. That
That
felt
made me
like
laugh.
part of the folk horror of it all. Like
Yeah,
they
right.
all knew that that could
We're
happen
not
to them.
not getting anywhere near that because it's gonna be bad.
And I love
Um,
that our baddie, uh, every like first half of the movie, the entire first half, he's just like peeking behind like
yeah,
like bushes the whole time. He's in every scene, just like watching what the
right.
fuck everyone's doing. I was like, okay, this dude is everywhere all at once.
It definitely was. Tree guts. That was the first emergence of the tree guts after the roofie coffee. Then I as he was on his motorbike approaching the broken bridge, I said, "Jump it!" And then I said, "Fuck yeah!" when he does.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You had to. That
and
dude
then
really wanted to do those stunts, I'm sure.
and then this note was I said, "Five head secures safe passage into Julia's pants." That's when he was really like giving her the flowers and really trying to.
Oh, because he got a five head, you said?
He had the fucking biggest forehead I've ever
For
seen
sure.
for an actor in a movie. He
Yeah,
was great. I
he was
mean, great
a bit of a
fighter, and
dork.
I think he was like Indonesia's like Bruce Lee or
Yeah,
Sonny Chiba, like one of those
must be.
super cool front men that beats everyone's ass and saves the day.
I wonder if
Um,
he was considered cool in his day. Because
I
he.
think so. I mean, yeah, he looked like more Western, and that's usually what gave them that edge. So they didn't look as traditional like Indonesians or
Sure.
whatever country they're from. Um, But yeah, that forehead was enormous. So
I didn't even notice. A
no, it was a few sections larger
few extra
than
heads.
mine. Cool picnic basket. That thing was when they had their little picnic, and it was like a
Was it like
silver. It
huge or
was like a
whatever?
silver tower, and each layer had like a different
Oh
food in
yeah,
it.
I
I was
did
like,
notice that. That
that looks
was
like a fancy Chinese restaurant, and they're just doing that for
for
fun in the
sure.
field.
That's a hell of a picnic to bring with you.
And
That
then
was it.
this next bit, I said, did she just piss in the river? Because there was a scene where she was like weirdly wading in the river, and it kind of seemed like, I
I
mean, I don't think she was really, or they weren't meaning to film her taking a piss. But I was like, why are we seeing this scene? Like, because she was kind of like trying not to get her clothes wet. And like, she was, I think, trying to take her clothes off, but like nudity was absolutely not allowed
huh.
in this movie. And so I didn't know that. And
Yeah, that was
then,
weird because like I do think they bring her to the river and then they kind of cut and then it's just another fight scene, right?
right.
Which
Well,
it
because
could
she gets
just be a.
separated because the cop guy who was
Mhm.
her uncle or something, right? I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so he starts eating the amazing picnic, and which is poisoned, and she, yeah, then she's just doing some weird shit in the
They
river.
just
So I
needed
was just
her
like,
to fuck off for a second.
I maybe to not see the
The death.
transition from the
Yeah, yeah,
food.
yeah.
Then I said, "Uh oh, bad chow." So that was when he got it, and then I said fatality when he
Damn.
died. The worst henchman. So this was the first emergence of that gang that just fucking sucks at
Mhm.
being henchmen and beating people up. Then I said boing. I think there was a one of those reverse fall scenes where they do this so much in Indian and Indonesian movies where or the Oily Maniac has the most of them I've ever seen, where they're supposed to be on screen. It looks like they're jumping great heights, but it's so obvious that they're just
So
jumping
they're
down in
coming down?
reverse.
Totally.
And
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I think I said boing because it made a funny noise. I think when he did an amazing leap, and I'm like, it's obviously in reverse.
That's hilarious. And there was
Um,
Barry Prima had I mean it must have been real, I don't know, but he had like a jump and a backwards kick at the same time that
yeah,
looked
he had
like
some good
dude
stunts.
yeah, the dude actually got his fucking face rocked by him. And I was like,
Yeah,
dude, that was a sick ass move.
there was a bunch of those back kick moves. Like that must be the certain fighting style that these
Yeah,
guys were doing.
he must have been
You
on
don't
some
see that
sort
very
of
often.
trampoline because that was impressive. And then there was
Fisherman
the
String
sock.
Jams
Wait, sorry.
was Fisherman String Jams. That dude was like playing this gnarly machine, like string machine. This was the scene where the mayor was going to rape his virgin daughter for the night, and he was just like chilling with this instrument. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was sweet. So I said Fisherman
What
String
the
Jams.
fuck? Did I fall asleep during this?
And
That's
then I
great.
said, "Boo, no tits allowed in
I
Indonesia."
know.
So when the girl was being raped or was done being raped, they put like a hard like black block on her boob, and I was
Right,
like,
right, right.
it wasn't even a post like Mondo doing it. It was an original from that time. So I was like, that must have been strictly forbidden at that
Which
time
I
to.
wonder because um, I wonder how that's probably just never ever gonna get restored, right? Like,
It
cause
can't. No, it was like scratched out of the film.
right, right. Cause Japan also has strange like Austin Powers ways of
Yeah, right.
like obscuring,
They
you
they're
know.
big, they're fine with topless
Yeah,
in
yeah, yeah,
Japan, but
yeah, yeah.
bottom is like
For
usually
sure.
no.
They definitely don't like that. And then I always wonder, like, because all of these people get access to it, and it just must be at the time of filming it, they completely
Right.
censored it, and you can never get it back.
No way to see it
That's crazy.
whatsoever.
It's a bummer.
Um, and then I was commenting on it was a, I said, damn, was it that bad when she uh, stabs herself after being raped? Like, I was just like that. I mean, granted, rape is terrible. I'm not trying to downplay it at all, but I was like, that was an escalation and a half to to Harry carry yourself like that.
I think I must have been asleep during this part because
The
or
middle.
maybe you have. I don't know if there's multiple versions of this movie, but goddamn, I don't remember any of this.
No, and it was a gross rape. Like, so if you don't remember it, I mean, they're not showing anything, but he's like licking her face like a lot, like more than is shouldn't have been. Like, it shouldn't have been shown. It was like it was making me like physically ill just
Yeah,
because it
yeah,
was
yeah.
like, ew, like just stop, please. But then after she
Sure,
just like
please.
instantly gets the sword and just fucking like full evisceration, like blood splattering
Nice.
everywhere. I was like,
Crazy.
seriously, okay.
Just needed
And
some
then I
more
said,
blood.
LOL grave ambush. So this was the one where they were like sitting around and then they all like come out like zombies. So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, neat. Then
Dope.
snake bomb, where they were throwing snakes on top.
Yes.
Then the ring of fire, where they gasoline fired him into a circle and then he jumps out. Then
They
I
were just
said,
having fun during. I mean, they were like,
right,
"What else can we do? We got some
how many
snakes in the
things
backyard."
can we throw from a height while he goes under? Like, that was
Yeah.
like the common
Right.
thing. Like, keeps going through this narrow corridor, so now we're gonna do ropes or rocks or sticks
Snakes
or snake.
definitely got hurt during the filming of this.
Yes, for sure. um cool mood rings, doc. So there was a doctor, I think he was helping the one guy, but he had like
Mm-hmm.
fucking whole hands full of mood rings, and I was like, that's sweet. And then the magic smoking rock poison control was so the doctor just puts a smoking rock and then he's cured of the poison.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Pipe cigarette, that was then I said seventh woods ambush at this point in the movie. So this is the seventh time. And then
The
I
truck is
said,
pretty dope.
yeah, that was actually some serious stunts that looked difficult. I think they weren't going very fast, but it
Yeah.
was still treacherous. Next comment was, good thing Julia warmed up with those weird push-ups. She was like,
Totally.
she was like working out, and then they kind of ambushed, so she was all warmed up to
Right,
fight.
right.
That was what I was doing.
Don't want to pull a hammy.
And then this was the point in the movie where I said, could use some more silencers instead of endless fights right about now.
Yes,
So
yes.
it was a bit of a lull in the gore.
Yeah, I think we only got 3, right? I mean, which felt like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it felt like a kung fu movie, and then they were like, how do we make this cooler? Like,
How do we get it right?
because each death
Next,
felt singular too. Like, I don't know, it kind of felt like shaved off or maybe added in after, or I don't know. You
could
know
have
how they
been
always do that type of thing, like
totally.
Roger
Where
Corman.
they
How do we make it better? How do we get more money or whatever?
that's I mean that makes more sense. Like, they just did a straight kung fu movie or whatever style of fighting martial arts movie this was, and then they had to equally put in these gross out moments to give
Yeah.
it notoriety and get the censors to ban it so that more people wanted to watch it. Next thing, Afro Ninja's black shirt is in the wash. I thought that was hilarious. He just came out with a
Oh
white
yeah,
shirt one day and then goes back to black.
totally. Right, right, right. Yeah.
Henchmen lose again. 0-8 was my score. Then leave town, man. So this was the point where I was like, all right, you're really
Yeah.
putting yourself in harm's way. Then the shoe rat torture. I thought that was
Pretty awesome.
pretty gross. Like, the shoe, like they were all like barfing and gagging. Like, I was like, that's worse to me than like everything else. Like, that would
Mm-hmm.
make me.
Mm-hmm. It was pretty weird, and I think they were just tiny little mice, right? They were just so
Yeah, they were not rats, right?
innocent little things that they threw on the foot.
But it was so funny with the smelly shoe bit, because they dropped a hint, like a scene before, like saying like God damn, your shoes stink.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
it became a plot to like so I just it must have been somebody's joke, I think, like that someone on set had the worst feet smell, and then they took, because I've never ever seen that before,
No,
so
no,
that
yeah.
was like
That's
was a
definitely
unique
true.
torture technique. um then the impossible escape, that was where he was hanging and he swings with like his mouth and picks up a
Oh yeah,
knife, and I was like,
it's
there's no
the scythe.
possible way.
So awesome. Very
Yeah,
cool.
but there's no way anyone would have the strength to make themselves move in any of those directions.
The
I
man's
love you
like,
tattoo on the chopped leg.
wait, what? Say that again.
The I love you tattoo on the chopped leg when
Oh
the guy
yeah,
loses his leg and there's this shot and it says I love you. I'm like, why?
gotta include it.
And then so many panty shots. She was always fighting in a skirt, and we got to see
All
every time
right.
she kicked her leg. So I think that was their as close as they could get to being naughty and sexy was her little pink, white in every scene where she's kicking her leg out. We got to see it. So I was like, all right, that must be the head nod to the
I
horny
wonder
people
if
watching it.
that uh has that country ever laxed their nudity laws? I mean, I
I
need
don't know
to
if they've
know.
since come around to allow it, but it must be a very taboo thing
That's
because
crazy.
there's nothing in any of these.
For
Like
sure.
Hungry Snake Woman was close, but I don't think there was any actual nudity. Like lots
Yeah.
of dancing was their sexy female like thing. So women dancing in scantily clad outfits, that was like as close as you could get to something that was risque. But then I said nice head saw. So that was a pretty good gore scene.
Right.
They didn't show it quite up close like we're used to seeing in Western movies that go to that extent, but then the pipe gun, I said, haha, pipe gun. That thing was just fucking
So
goofy
so
looking.
when the red eye crazy guy uh right before he gets killed, there's like that pipe that comes right towards his face and he
Yeah,
completely
yeah, yeah.
blocks it. I was like super impressed by that too. Like I wonder if they like slowed that down. Like there's some
I know.
interesting like
Could have
it
been some
felt
danger.
for sure.
And then second to last one was bamboo question mark. So that was one of the secret rules that if you had the impenetrable skin by taking the silencers the right way, you could only get your skin penetrated by bamboo. I was like, you're telling us this now. Like
Huh. I completely missed that as well.
right. So that just suddenly fell upon the protagonists at the end that there were some bamboo poles, and then someone's like, "Wait, that's the Achilles heel to this," and I'm like, but all of that was not clear. Like the fact that because I remember he was being the main bad guy was being like you can't stop me. We didn't know he had this impenetrable skin until I subsequently figured that out. But that's why he had that kind of bravado. Like, yeah, you're not going to do anything to me. I'm like invincible.
That's funny.
And
I
except for the
think
bamboo.
I think about 30 minutes of the way I just probably stopped listening. I was just looking at the fun choreography because
Yeah.
I did not catch that plot whatsoever.
No, the rules of the little red pills was not well defined. So I guess I would
What was your
recommend
last note?
reading up on it. It was just epic final tree guts. The last one
Oh,
was
for
they
sure,
pulled all the stops and did all the rest of the blood tanks were squirted for that one.
for sure.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, it's not a movie that I mean. Would you watch this again?
I think I would. I think I would. I mean, more in a on in the background type movie. I think
Sure.
that's probably the best way to watch it, where you're not because there's too much fighting. Unless you're really, really into choreography of martial arts stuff, I like just a little bit. So it has to, and this was a lot of the same. Like like he could have really saved himself if he just mortally injured or killed any of them, but he just like lightly pissed them off each time, and then they come back in 20 minutes. So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
um,
Yeah, I think bringing it to a hangout or to show it to other people for its because I wonder how many people in the world have seen this movie. There's for sure it was straight. Oh, you said it had a cult following, maybe.
I think like VHS like copies, people that
Okay,
were able to
right.
catch it. Like I have
Still
no idea
extremely
how stuff
rare.
circulated back then in
Right,
those
right. But
parts of
yeah,
the world.
I don't know. I mean, thank God Mondo's doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
Boy, this is a strangey for sure.
It was in good shape. I mean, a lot of these
Yeah.
from that part of the world get ruined because they live in like 100% humidity all the time, and it's like 100 degrees every time of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was that one Massacre Resurrected. What was that called?
Oh,
The
I love
Devil
that movie.
or something?
It was just like called The Dead or something, wasn't it?
Wasn't it The Devil?
The Devil. That movie
Like
rocks.
that one wasn't even Indonesian, but my point being that one was super messed up, and even after their restoration, it was still like moldy, and I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of added to the plot a little bit because they were like gooey
For sure.
worms and guts
Yeah,
and stuff, so it
gross and
kind of
looked gross.
seemed subterranean in the way that the mold is manifested in the film.
For sure.
But this one was really clean and I think this is the first ever video release of the film in its intended aspect ratio and with widescreen. So yeah, this is probably the best it's ever looked. But I mean, some of these, like especially the Shock ones, are pristine,
For sure.
clean. Like they must have used the best film and the best process to get them that way. So now when they're getting truly re-released and restored, it's like it looks Criterion like just so cool. So that is neat to see a movie of this low budget, low
Def-
caliber, but shine through where it's not constant fuzz and messed up film. So
VHS
they did
quality.
a great
Yeah.
job.
Or like a VHS scan that gets upgraded,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're
we're
they're doing
definitely
they're
in
doing the best
the
work.
heyday. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying Mondo's doing really quality work with these
Yeah.
obscure out of nowhere movies from parts of the world that this stuff probably would have just rotted in a basement
Oh,
had
for
they
sure.
not gone to the trouble of finding it and saving it.
I was saying the same thing. We're in like the maybe the golden years or the peak, the absolute peak of physical
Right.
like discovery of these movies. Because I don't know, you've been at it way longer than me in terms of just scouring the
Yeah.
dredges.
What's left? Right.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they just keep bringing out more that, and they're all from the same 70s and 80s or whatever. And it's like,
Right.
god damn, how many movies were made? How many awesome movies were made in the 70s? Was this in
I
the
think I
70s?
read this is 82.
82. Got it.
The director, his best movies, I don't know the names of them, but everything I was reading about this one said he had done two or three that were better than this one in the late 70s. Similar, same martial arts and a little bit of horror and exploitation. So I want to check those out.
Oh, yeah, I did
If I,
hear about the Stabilizer being
yeah, that was one of them.
86, sort of a explosion-y action type one. That looks awesome.
Yeah, that one sounds familiar. Now, let me look to see what.
But other than that, I have not remotely heard of anything.
No, I'd never heard of this director before. Let me just look at. I mean, most of these titles are in Indonesian or whatever language they speak there.
But yeah, our baddie, W.D. Mokhtar, what a
Yeah, they have
fucking
the coolest
badass name.
names.
And he was in Mystics in Bali, Satan's
Ah,
Slave, Queen of Black
that's a good one.
Magic, The Warrior. Like, that dude rocks.
I think the Warrior's on Mondo too, right? I don't
I
own
think
it,
so,
but I think
yeah.
I've seen it.
Yep.
The other, I have Satan's Slave. So, and I think Mystics in Bali is just getting a blue release now, right? Like they're doing
Nice.
their red box thing, and then they'll do the retail version after the red box is
I did
done, I
not know
think.
that. That's awesome. That movie
Because
is.
it was only DVD before, so now it's getting the full treatment.
I want. What was it? Lady Terminator? Or whatever?
That's the best, right? That's
That
the
movie.
best DVD one they've put out.
Yeah, that and
Never gets old.
what is it? The Dracula one, Alucarda.
That one's on Blue, I think.
Oh, is it? Fuck.
I think I had that one.
That movie rocks.
Or Don't Deliver Me from Evil is another one that I
Yep, yep,
recently
yep.
upgraded.
Yeah, they really pick like the wild weird ones, because everyone else, I don't know that Mondo's done any popular movies. Like everyone sort of picks and
Never.
chooses sort of one of these popular ones, but these guys are sticking to the bottom.
Yeah, it's funny how through my collection, and to give context to my, I mean, this is probably a long story. I regret saying it, but I'm going to do it anyway. So I'd say, I mean, the brothers Tranter are weirdly obsessed with collecting things. We always have been since we were little, and so it's been one thing or the other through our childhood and life and everything like that. But I would say when when DVDs could be copied, that sparked a major thing in me where I could then hoard movies, collect movies, and hoard movies because I could just get a copy of a DVD, make a copy of it, put it in my little book, and so that was probably late '90s, early 2000s when that type DVD copying technology came out. So I'd say that was the culmination of me getting into this crazy movie buying collecting obsession. But then I think it really kind of turned a corner, and I try to position this as a bit of an origin story. When we went to Gurney Mills, which is a shopping mall that still exists in Gurney, Illinois. Um, I don't know what store it was. It was one of the Sam Goodies, or one
Suncoast.
of those. Yeah, or Suncoast, one of those two. And I bought Seven Doors of Death,
Yeah.
which was a
Nice.
DVD cut of The Beyond by Lucio Fulci, and I bought it purely by the cover and the title. I was like, I don't know what this is, but it was cheap in the cheap bin, and I bought that. And then that was right around when I was going to college, or before I went to college, I think, so 2000 ish. And that got me on the obsession of finding hard to find horror. Like Italian horror was the first kind of foray I went after. But the point of this long diatribe is, as I've been collecting these, and I'm very centered on particular labels where, like Massacre Video, SRS Cinema, Mondo, Scream Factory, Vinegar Syndrome, you name it. I've got huge sections of those labels and all the movies I've bought. But the thing that's funny, like I think you turned me on to Vinegar Syndrome around the time The Suckling came out. That
Mm.
was like when they released The Suckling, you said something to me about it, and I was like, and that was the first Vinegar Syndrome I bought. And then I was totally enamored with everything they had in their prior release, and then I was focused on everything they were putting out, because at that time they were still a bit underground. They were like, now they're doing big master blockbuster movie releases,
Yeah, yeah.
which I don't care about. I don't want to see those, or not going to buy those. But as I've evolved through all this, I'd say Mondo is one of my top three labels now. Like no contest. Like Massacre used to be really high, but I've kind of waned on the like purely gross out, torture horror
Yeah.
stuff. And that one, I rarely am in that mood. But and I still like the Saturn's Core SOV horror stuff. But this international horror, like I've been talking to you nonstop outside of this podcast, like the Japanese stuff. I had a huge obsession where I watched like nothing but that. The Shaw Shocks, I watched nothing but that for weeks
Hmm.
and weeks. These Danza Macabra Italian and Spanish, horror gothic things. So this has been my shit lately. Is this international underground, just different takes on stories that are super interesting and unpredictable. So
What's funny is, so I remember in your apartment in Chicago, I think that's one of the main sparks for me was when you had an entire closet full of
Right.
DVDs. I think it was DVDs that were copied from Facets,
That's right.
um, which
Sorry, facets.
yeah, maybe you shouldn't say that. But I mean, now you're purchasing everything, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I have rebought most of every those one of those, but
But I remember I hadn't seen Apocalypse Now. You had Apocalypse Now. I hadn't seen Burial Ground. You had that. I hadn't
yeah,
seen anything from Werner Herzog, and you had like all of those. And I
right.
remember just like staying up till like 4 a.m. just maybe even alone. You'd probably gone to bed by the time I'd thrown in some new like Heart of Glass from Werner Herzog, and I was like, so that's I think one of my main sparks for sure. Which
Yeah, that's cool.
that's
That
pretty.
was yeah, that I mean to give even more context to anyone listening to this. So yeah, I lived in a condo and it was a two-bedroom condo, but we had this weird space in the hallway. Like it made no sense like when I think back on it. So everyone that had a condo had kind of like a closet where you could put, you know, brooms and vacuums and things, but no, mine was completely wall to wall with DVDs. So I don't know where we put that stuff that other people would have put. You know, they're like it was kind of like their like I guess we had a garage spot. It was kind of like your shed type of the
Yeah.
stuff you didn't need inside your condo. But yeah, I must have really talked my wife into this is mine and I'm going to fill it with. And yeah, I built the shelves like, or I think
Yeah.
our dad helped build shelves for that. I had cases and I printed covers for every. So yeah, I really took the whole DVD copying thing to the maximum, you know, exponential limit.
Do you still have them?
They're all in a book now, so I've got four of those like 100 disc things, or maybe more than 100. I don't know how many, and they're alphabetized. But I only go in there for, I mean, stuff that is out of print, you know, that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I got it from a DVD that is no longer, you cannot buy it, you cannot find it. So I do have stuff from that I've yet to find because they haven't released it.
Do you have
Um,
like white whales that you are still waiting on in terms of?
from the you mean stuff I have copy of that I want a real
Uh huh.
probably, but I have not reconciled those everything in those books with everything I have. I mean, a lot of the stuff I used to get from Facets was what Distribix is putting out now. So like the Something
Right.
Weird stuff and the, you know, Swedish erotica, like those kind of, or the Doris Wishman. Like I got
Totally.
all those from
Mm-hmm.
Facets. So those are all coming out in beautiful, you know, Blu-ray 4K quality. So I've been happy to pick everyone up as they do. But yeah, I should go back and look because there's probably stuff in there that I haven't thought about since 2004 or whenever it
For
was. So
sure. Because you would do. I don't know how many people know about Stumpy discs as well.
that was another amazing, right?
Because that seems so damn shady, and I can only imagine where that person were getting their files. I don't even know what
Right.
was going on, but you had like bootlegs of even more underground shit, even more weird than Facets would have. Which
Yeah. I've
impressive.
got, let me grab one. I got one still over here somewhere. This is one. So yeah, all hail Stumpy Discs. So yeah, for anyone that's not old like me, Stumpy Discs was a website. I think I don't know where we found it, but and he just had like a catalog, and then it was like $5 a disc, $6 if you wanted a cover, something like that, right? It was
Yeah.
so cheap. And
Hmm.
then if you bought 10, it was like, you know, you take $5 more off something. So it was like, why wouldn't you, or how could you resist? So it was, and it was, so
But the way you
this is
ordered
one
it.
that I really, really,
Oh yeah,
Night of
sick.
the Zombies is, it was directed by what the fuck's his name?
Isn't that
I can't think of it.
Jean Roland?
No. But this has Jamie Gillis in it, the porn star, and he's great in it. But this is not. This is only available on VHS. It's not available any other way. So that was one that is still. That's it. And I mean, it looks like shit. It's somebody's VHS copy.
Yeah.
And this is Toxic Zombies,
Oh yeah.
which is another Stumpy Discs full back and front original cover. Massacre put that out on Blue, so I was happy when that happened. But up to this point, this was the only way to see Toxic Zombies unless you had a VHS. I mean, it's kind of like Rare Lust or My Duck is Dead. You know,
Mm-hmm.
those sites today where they're digitizing it from some source and then putting it up for sort of free download if you can wait that long or suffer through all the ads or whatever they force you to do. But the other, I mean, again, if I'm admitting to all my copyright crimes, Netflix used to be a disc distribution before it was a streaming service. And I used to sign up for the 7 discs at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd get 7 discs, copy, send back after a day or two, get 7 more. So that was more for mainstream titles, obviously. But yeah, I was.
Yeah, I remember seeing, and I kind of mentioned it in a Letterboxd review, but in the movie 964 Pinocchio or whatever.
Yeah.
I remember watching that movie, not knowing anything about it. This was Netflix when they would send you a disc, and then I was young enough that I didn't have my own TV, so this would go. I had the disc that I threw into the living room TV, and that movie is so fucking crazy. And it was just going, it was this big screen TV in our living room, and
that's amazing.
And our mom was doing dishes, a fucking room away, and she's hearing the most craziest screams and convulsions and Japanese people yelling and dying, and I was like, well, I think I gotta turn this one off.
Yeah, save for later. That's awesome. When was that, do you think? Because I'm honestly surprised Netflix would have had that.
I know.
Way back when.
For sure. They had some weird ones, because I remember, I can't remember what it was, but they would have a lot of underground ones, like a lot of weird documentaries that like don't even exist. I can't even remember how you would order from Netflix, but they definitely had some.
That was the funny thing is, I mean, it was like a movie store. So if you wanted something, but they didn't have any copies left, you had to you were on like a wait list.
Right.
Like I remember that. So something like that, they probably had one copy of that movie because there's no way they were getting requests for hundreds at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a totally different time, but we milked it to its capacity.
That's why now is like the peak of it all, because it's all available. So,
yeah, right.
Crazy expensive, but readily available. I love it.
Well, that's why Tubi doesn't get enough credit. I mean, despite the endless ads, which are, you cannot skip them. You cannot pay your way to get out of the ads. So they're really force feeding you ads.
Yeah.
But their library is amazing in terms of horror. Like they have, I mean, the downside to Tubi is it doesn't do a great job at circulating what it shows you when you browse. It has a very limited selection that it kind of like prearranges to categorize into like action horror or modern horror, 70s horror, whatever. But then they're very limited lists. But if you know what to search for, it's like an endless, you find everything if you type in the title. And so I think it probably has to do with, algorithms they have based on your watch habits and what you put on your watch list and like list. But I think Netflix is the same, because Netflix, you kind of got the bars of like this category, and it's like it's always forcing me like this show is on this one and the show's on this next one and the same show's on this one. It's like I don't want, if I've passed it, I don't want to see it again.
Totally, yeah.
So I think they're all they must have like priority titles that they like, we need to get as many watches or views of these, and they've got these background ones that are just for the degenerates to find if they know the title and they'll search for it. So that's because I keep hearing like hard to find, not never released movie, but then it's like it's on Tubi now, and I'm like, oh shit, and then you go search for it and it's something there. So like that Landlocked one I was telling you yesterday, like that does not, it was released by Dark Sky Films, which is a familiar label I've heard of, but there's not a DVD, not a Blu-ray of that movie. It came out in 2021. It's like they just said, nope, it's digital only, and that's how it's going to be. So I was like, because if I see a movie on a Shudder or a Tubi and I'm like, I really dig it, like to where I'm telling people about it, that needs to go on the shelf. I need to buy it because I'm going to want to watch it again. Like I wanted to watch Landlocked again last night. And, but it's baffling that a movie made modern is like, they're just skipping the whole physical media release of any sort. So I was like,
yeah.
Give me no choice then. I got to
right.
Tubi or find a way to.
We need it. Give it. Are you still on Cult Picks?
No, I have not. I broke away from that for a minute because I had so many
many
weird that I needed to watch.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I did. I watched the hell out of it. Like nothing. 2 whole months. Nothing but those titles for those months. So I really, it was like a immersion in that type of film, and that really put me into my overdrive of picking up all those Distripix and something weird collaborations that came out recently. And it makes me feel like there's going to be a lot more because there were so many
for sure
in that streaming site that don't have a DVD or Blu. So we'll hopefully see them.
Man, the amount of New York underground black and white movies, there's so many, and they're
so good and
to see. I cannot wait for them to just keep rolling that shit out. I hope they do that.
I mean, that was a comment related to something you said earlier that I wanted to mention, where kind of the golden age of like they're scraping the bottom of the barrel, like what is out there that's still worthy of a release of any sort. I remember reading something. I don't have the details fresh in my mind, but when VHS cameras became popular, that allowed everyone to be a movie director. Every dad, every person that could gather a group and get some effects and get a story, they were making movies. And so it was some like crazy stat that I remember reading where I was like, this is completely not accurate, but it was like only like 20% of all the movies that were made of shot on video have been seen by anyone else. Like, and so there's, again, these are probably rotting in basements, but you still, like, I've bought a bunch that have been like, this was some regional channel in Canada that made this like cool horror anthology, and it had been sitting in that station's basement up until someone found a box and said, what's this? So I do think SOV stuff, there will be, as probably like, as because our dad is probably that age generation. He was like one of the first ones that had a shoulder cam in the 80s,
right,
that was doing home movies and doing that. So when that generation dies, their basements will be left to their children. That's where I think we'll see the next resurgence of lost movies that no one knew existed, that are going to be so great. Like, I mean, some will be crap, like, because they're just made by individuals, but I bet, tons of stuff will come out from that. So I'm excited to see what basements get dug up in the next 10 years.
Yeah, that reminds me of one of those weird ones. You remember, did you ever see A Scream in the Streets?
Yes.
That, I think it was like Severin that did that, but that was like something
like a cross-dresser guy. Yeah. It's like killing people in the park. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like another one, just like the Silencers, is it went nowhere. It never got any sort of, no one saw it. So beautifully.
You never believe it. Yeah, someone would make a movie of that plot. So it looks
so good that you're like, it feels like it was made this year, but it's like a parody. But it's like, yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, I did enjoy that one.
Did you
And
get movies in this week? Are you opening
no,
packages?
I'm in between, which is good. I do need a breathing moment because I'm last week I got the Living Dead Girl, and I want to get Grapes of Death, but I'm waiting for the price to drop a little bit more
Hell yeah,
because it's still a little more than I want to spend for one. Um, but yeah, I tend to go in fits and bursts with movies where I get like because recently I was on kind of a nostalgia track, so I got Eyes Wide Shut, Vanilla
nice,
Sky, The Crow. Like I bought
nice,
three 4Ks of those three because I was like late '90s, early 2000s, Tom Cruise, that kind of. I was in that mood, so then I bought those like in quick succession, and then but yeah, right now I'm in a nice. I don't lust for anything, so I'm saving my money until something big comes around, or a sale comes around that I can't resist.
for sure.
Is there
Yeah,
anything you're looking to buy that you're?
I'm just waiting on. I have no idea what the turnaround time is these days for a Vinegar Syndrome halfway to Black
Oh,
Friday sale
you
because
bought that? Yeah.
I partook in that, and that's really the only purchase I've done in a while. But I think I got like 8 or 9 movies on the way, so
Sweet.
can't wait. Most of them Saturn's Core, most or AGFA, but yeah,
Nice.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, there were a bunch of sales still on now in the partner. I was looking yesterday, but I didn't need anything, so there was a couple AGFAs, but I think I had all the ones that were on sale, and then same with the
Yeah,
Saturn's
there
Core.
was one I bought. Do you own the movie called My Crepitus from
Yes, I have that one.
Saturn's Core? So as soon
I
as
haven't
I
watched
get
it yet.
that, we gotta do that one because
Yeah, that sounds good. I haven't opened that one, so and that was a. I mean, I mostly blind buy everything on Saturn's Core, but that
yeah,
one
yeah,
has a good cover that extra sold the deal as a.
for sure.
I need to buy it before it sells out.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right, so what do you got for next week? What are our
So
options?
I don't know these are yay or nay. You make the decision.
Okay,
Um, so I got this
nice.
Jacker 2, which is on Saturn's Core. Um,
Yes, I'm open for that.
or Little Cory Gory.
That one is also excellent, and I would. Yeah, let's do that one. That one, if you've never seen it,
Never seen it, and
I
it's an
saw it when it
RF,
came out, which was 3 4 years ago. So it's. I remember it fondly, but I don't know the details.
and it's good
This
because
one,
the label that we haven't done yet. That's cool.
yes, good
And
idea.
then so we could do that, or we could do the Gorgor Girls, which I've never seen.
Let's do Gory Cory.
Cool.
Um, I recently went through all the Herschel Gordon Lewis's, like every single one, so I'm a little too fresh on those.
Sure, sure. And I think this is a double that you actually gave me. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
because I bought a box which it was in, and then I didn't need the single
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had.
yeah. Sweet.
A
Yeah,
little.
I've heard very little about this, but
It
it.
was way better than I thought it should be based on it being an obscure nobody big made it. So if that's anything, it was really surprising in how well it was put together. I mean, this is SRS Sub Rosa Cinema Studios, whatever they're called, and they're typically. I love them. They're probably one of the ones I have the most individual titles for.
Damn.
Like well over 100 DVDs
Damn.
and Blu-rays.
I think I only have like probably 3. That's insane.
Right. And they're from every end of the spectrum in terms of like the most ridiculous piece of shit, garbage, crap to, middle of the road to high quality stuff. So it's you never know what you're going to get. They really have no standards in what they release. But more good than bad. So I've had way more good watches than ones I've thrown out the window.
Fuck yeah.
Good stuff.
So, final notes on Special Silencers.
Special Silencers is pretty kick-ass. Way too heavy on the kung fu martial arts, but I think it because of that, it has comedic elements that make it rewatchable or background movie in a party type movie that people would look at and be like, "What the hell's going on in this movie?" It's got something
For
weird.
sure.
So yeah, it was.
I appreciate its nature of being an oddity, and the fact that it's just taking two completely different things and mashing them into one, turning it into a true culty type thing. Might be a certified one watcher for me, but
Really?
we'll see. Again, this might be one that I'll watch in a decade or so.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I would be in the mood for it. And I mean, and that's kind of the way I operate. Where if I watch something like Beyond the Seventh Door is a good example. I have to watch that annually, and it's like an internal clock, like Time Hop, where it shows you a picture from the year before, and it's uncanny how many times I've done it where it's been like it's coming up to a year, because I used to post everything on Instagram that I would watch, so in my camera roll I'll be like, a year ago I watched this, and then tomorrow a year ago, so it's kind of like an echo of all the years past of what I was watching, but it's like uncanny. I have like an internal clock that when I watch something I really like, that I have a really strong connection to, I feel the need to watch it almost like an annual anniversary, because that one just comes up in my mood like I don't realize that I watched it in November, but I always feel like watching it in November or something.
Wasn't this one kind of a spark for you too?
Yeah. That was the one you gave me that opened up my eyes to it's so bad it's good.
Yeah. Because I remember, I don't know if I'd even seen it, but we were talking about it or something.
Right.
I think I blind bought it, and then you did the same, and then we were both like, "What the fuck? This is the best thing I've ever seen."
So great. It's mostly comedy than anything else, but in such a quirky way that you can't describe it or compare it to anything else. But yeah, I mean, same with that Hellraiser Judgment. That was what I was showing you that I bought. That was the exact same thing. I saw that about a year ago on Shudder, and I was just like, then I see something that reminds me of it, and I'm like, I want to watch that one again.
Right.
So yeah, it's a weird rewatch behavior that my brain just latches on and then seems to catch certain movies on annual recycles. So, but yeah, I don't think this one will be annual.
This one's on the outer ring.
Yes. All right, cool. So we will jump into it next week with Little Gory Corey.
Little Corey Gory, sir.
Oh, I got it backwards.
Yeah. Little Corey Gory.
All right. Well, thank you for discussing Special Silencers. I kept calling it Secret Silencers. I fucked that up when I was texting.
Yeah, you. even the name is like, what do we?
Yeah, it's a terrible name.
it's very much like I don't know, James Bond type name.
Right. Well, when you think silencer, you think a gun.
Yeah.
Extension piece. Yeah, they could have really done a better title, unless it was just a bad translation of what it was in their native tongue
across the pond.
Yeah, Exploding Tree Guts would have been better.
Oh yeah, we forgot about alternate titles. Fuck. I
didn't really.
I never think about it anymore.
I couldn't get anything with
Exploding Tree Guts. There we go.
Yeah, I guess that's the best description of it. All right, cool.
All right, sick.
Thanks, dude.